So we have been working with finding a fraction of a whole number, okay? So for a warm-up, I'm going to give you a problem, and in your head mentally, I want you to find half of 3. So in your head, I want you to find half of 3, and give me a thumbs up on your chest when you have a strategy that you would like to share on how to find half of 3. Michael, would you like to share a strategy on how you found half of 3?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Okay, so I imagine 3 circles for the holes.
Taya, can you get the door, please? Okay, so he imagined 3 whole circles.
And I imagine each one cut in half.
Okay, so he cut each one in half.
And then I circled in one, circled in 2 halves.
2 halves.
And then I circled in another half.
So what is half of 3, Michael?
1 and a half.
Okay, so he imagined his 3 holes. He split them all in half and then took half of them, which is 1 hole and then a half of the third one. Good job. Does anyone else want to share their strategy on how they found half of 3? Samir?
Well, how I found half of 3 was I knew half of 3 is the same thing as 3 divided by 2.
Okay, so he knew that half of 3 is the same thing as 3 divided by 2.
And I know 3 divided by 2 is the same thing as 3 over 2.
Okay, so he knows he can also write 3 over 2 because this is also our division symbol.
And 3 over 2 is an improper fraction.
Okay.
So I would simplify it.
Okay,
And I put down 1 whole number.
1 whole. Where did you get 1 whole?
Because if you do division, you get 1.
Okay. 2 goes into 3 one time.
And the remainder is 1, so you put that as a numerator, and you put 2 as the denominator, and it's 1 over that.
Good. So he knew that 2 goes into 3 one whole time with a remainder of 1. So that's going to be his numerator, and we keep our denominator the same. Very good. So now I want you to look at the smartboard. And I'm going to put a problem 1 up on the board. And it says, Samir has half of a fruit bar. Oh, sorry, I didn't even realize. Samir has half of a fruit bar. He wants to give half of what he has to his sister. What part of a whole fruit bar will Samir give to his sister? Okay, so what we're trying to do is we are trying to find half of what? Half of what? Michaela?
1/2 of the fruit bar Samir has.
Right, we're trying to find half of a half. What is half of the fruit bar that Samir has? So with your paper in front of you, I'm going to show you a strategy that we can use folding paper actually to multiply fractions. Okay? So, you have 2 crayons in front of you. And what I want for you to do is I'm going to be doing this up on the underneath the document camera too for you to be able to see. Is I want you to take your paper, and if this represents 1 whole fruit bar, the whole piece of paper represents 1 whole fruit bar, how can we represent half of a fruit bar? Raina?
Split it in half.
Very good. So we're going to take our paper and we're going to fold it in half vertically. Vertically. hot dog style. Vertically, up and down. Okay? So then I want you to open it, and just so you can see mine, I'm going to draw a line down the crease so you can see my crease, but you do not need to do that. Okay. So here's my paper folded in half, and the blue line is my crease. I just did that so you can see it. Okay? Now, how much of a fruit bar did Samir start with? Maya?
Half of the fruit bar.
He started with half of the fruit bar. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a crayon and you're going to shade in half of the fruit bar. It doesn't need to be anything super fancy. Just how I'm doing it up here will work just fine. And when you're done, if you'll set your crayon down so I know we can move on. I want everyone to be caught up. Okay, so what part of the half fruit bar are we trying to find? Class, you may tell me. Half. We're trying to find half of the half fruit bar that Samir started with. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold our paper back on our crease. And you folded it vertically last time. So this time I want you to take your paper and make it horizontal, which means it goes left to right. And I want you to fold it in half again and crease it. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and draw a line on my crease just so you guys can see it. You don't need to do that. Okay, so he gave half of it to his sister. So what we're going to do is we're going to shade the bottom half of our page since we folded it horizontally. So you're going to shade the whole bottom half, and remember we folded it horizontally. So you're shading the bottom half. And then when you're done, set your crayon down so I know we can move on. Now, let's look at our paper now. How many total parts do we have of our whole fruit bar? Jacob?
3.
How many total? Not just the shaded parts, the whole thing. 4, very good. We have 4 parts, okay? Now, Samir started with half of a fruit bar, and then he gave half of his half to his sister. So the part that we are going to look at is the double shaded part, or the part that has both colors in it. Okay? How many parts have both colors shaded? Or how many parts are shaded with both colors that you chose? Alex?
2.
With both colors?
Oh, 1.
1. Very good. So we have blue, in my case, I have blue and red. Okay? So 1 out of how many, Alex?
1. 4.
4. 1 out of 4 parts is double shaded. So what is half of a half? Kaylee?
1/4.
1/4. Okay? So how much of the fruit bar did Samir give to his sister? Isaac?
1/4.
1/4. He gave 1/4 of his fruit bar to his sister. He gave half of his half. Now, if we look at our fraction tiles, we have a half, so this is what he started with, and we had 1/4. is 1/4 half of my half. So are we correct?
Yes.
Very good. Good job, guys. Now, I'm going to put another scenario up on the board, and I want you to try with your other paper. I want you to start it on your own. Okay, so Kaylee has half of a veggie pizza. She eats 2/3 of the part of the pizza she has. How much of the whole pizza did Kaylee eat? Okay. So, what's our first step? How much of the whole pizza did Kaylee have to start? Gerald? She had a half of a pizza to start. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our paper and we're going to fold it vertically in half. And again, I'm going to draw a line down my crease. You do not have to do that, but just so I want you to see it. And then we are going to shade in half. Now, this paper represents the whole pizza, right? And she only had half of it, so that's why we're only shading in half. The paper represents the whole pizza. And then again, when you're finished, set your crayons down, so I know we'll be able to move on. Okay, so according to our problem, how much of the pizza did Kaylee eat? Rhea?
2/3.
She ate 2/3 of her pizza. So we have to somehow represent thirds with our paper. How can we represent thirds with our paper? Cam, do you know? How can we represent thirds? Just give me a thumbs up when you have an idea. Maya?
You can fold it 3 times.
Good. We're going to fold it the opposite direction, so horizontally into thirds. So take your paper, go ahead and fold it back in half along your crease. And if you look up at the board, I'm going to show you how to do this. So we have our paper horizontal. Okay? We're going to fold it in thirds. Fold over one flap. Fold over the second flap. So you have a little square when you're done folding. And if you mess up the first time, it's no big deal. That's why you have extra papers. Try again. This is your first time doing it, so of course we're not all going to be perfect. Then I'm going to go ahead and open. I'm going to go ahead and draw on my creases so you can see them on the board. You do not need to do that. Okay, so remember, when we're solving fraction of problems, such as if we were finding 2/3 of 6, we would start by thinking what 1/3 of 6 would be, okay? So this is, I want you to think similarly about if we were finding a fraction of a whole number, okay? So how could we use shading to show a third, not 2/3, but 1/3 of our paper? How could we use shading to show 1/3 of our paper? Taylor?
We could take our other color and shade one of the squares.
Very good. We can take our other color. split this into thirds. So we have 1/3 of it up here, 1/3 of it right here, and 1/3 of it right here. So we're going to shade a whole third. So kind of disregarding our middle fold, now we have our paper split into thirds. And see how I just shaded 1/3 of my whole? I shaded 1/3 of my whole, okay? I didn't shade 1/3 of my half, I shaded 1/3 of my whole right here. So now, I'll give you a moment to get caught up. What is 1/3 of a half? What is 1/3 of a half? Looking for people who maybe haven't participated yet. Camden?
2/6.
Okay, now 2/6 is 1/3 of a whole.
1/6.
Very good. How do you know it's 1/6?
Because there's only one box out of 6 that have both shaded in.
Perfect. One box, or 1 out of 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, has both colors shaded, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so we know that 1/3 of our half is 1/6. So how much of the pizza did Kaylee eat?
1/6.
Oh, sorry. Let me put the problem back up. How much of our pizza did Kaylee eat? 2/3. We've only found 1/3 so far. So how can we represent the 2/3 that Kaylee ate? Paris?
Shading another 1/3.
Good. We're going to shade another 1/3. So how much of the pizza did Kaylee eat? Nicholas?
2/3.
2/6. Why 2/6, Nicholas?
Because now 2 of the squares are double shaded.
Perfect. 2 of our 6 squares are shaded with both colors. Okay? Are there any questions? Who can explain to me why, or explain to your class, actually, no, this is what I'm going to do. What I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you turn to the person next to you, and I'm going to have you explain why Kaylee ate 2/6 of her pizza. I'm going to put the problem back on the board, and I want you to turn to the person next to you and explain how you know that Kaylee ate 2/6 of her pizza. You may start.
Two boxes out of all the 6 boxes. The remaining ones have both of the colors.
Okay, eyes up here real quick. I want to make sure I hear lots of you saying because 2 of the boxes are double shaded. I want you to start from the beginning. Why did you fold your paper how you folded it? Why did you shade it how you shaded it? And then go from there. Okay, so now, sorry, turn and talk now.
Okay. So I folded it like I had half of it.
Very good.
Since I had two of them double shaded boxes, that means I had a double shaded box. How do you six? Yeah, two-thirds of it. Yes, they just started off with 2.5, and then basically when I get 2.5, you fill it half.
We had the 6/5 and then the half, and third. 3 ways to put it, so it would be,
And then we have
Okay, after both partners have explained, give me a thumbs up. Perfect. What group had a really good explanation that they feel like they should share with the class because it was that good? Isaac, explain to the class why you did what you did and how you found out how much of the pizza Kaylee ate. So start from the very beginning.
Okay. The problem said that she had 1/2 of the pizza. So what I did with my paper is I folded it in half, and then I shaded in half of the pizza.
Why did you shade in half?
Because that's how much she had. She didn't have the whole pizza.
Perfect.
And then it said that she ate 2/3. So I had to refold it in half, and then I had to make thirds out of the paper. And when I was done with that, it said that she ate 2/3, so I had to shade in 2/3. And there's 6 boxes in the whole thing. And if you look at your boxes that have both colors shaded, that means that's how many pieces she ate. So there's 6 boxes and there's 2 double shaded, so that got me my answer.
Awesome, let's give them a round of applause. Okay, so what I'm going to have you do now is I'm going to have you get with your math partner that you're with every day, and you are going to work on page 174 of your math journals. And as you guys are working, I'm going to be coming around and checking for understanding. Again, don't be discouraged if you have to get a new piece of paper and start over. This is our first time doing this, and no one's expected to get it right off the bat, okay? So don't be discouraged. Use as much paper as you need. Fold as many different papers as you need to make sure that you're getting full comprehension, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go get with your partners to your working spots.